CoDa Dance Company is a London and Surrey based dance company, and we've kind of got sort of three strands of engagement. So we've got youth, we've got professional company, and we also work in the community. So kind of trying to tie in all different areas of dance to make sure it's accessible to as many people as possible. So this project is called Les Hermites, and that comes from a sensation that people with neurological conditions often experience, and it's like an electrical impulse down the spine. And the project is basically delivering workshops to people with MS and other neurological conditions, mainly people who've never accessed dance before, taking movement and stories from those workshops and then researching and developing that movement with professional dancers to create a full-length piece.
So Laura and I are devising and delivering various workshops to participants who have MS, and with each workshop we try to cater it to the participants. We're kind of focusing on creating this open space to explore different movement ideas through imagery, so the imagination and use of various descriptions towards movement. So that way they don't feel like, oh, this is right or this is wrong. It's just we're exploring. And so we're creating mobility and movement in the body through the use of imagery.
To dance isn't necessarily to be able to kick your leg in the air or spin around. It's actually, we're trying to find a more meaningful and spiritual way of moving. What we try and do is we try and encourage just mobility. We're not asking people to move in a certain way, we're just asking them to move in whatever way they can, and that is the way that we look at the workshops. We are finding ways to help them move rather than telling them to move. And I think that it's very, like, if somebody comes in and they can't move one of their arms, that's fine. We work around that. We move the other arm. We just want to work to encourage people to move and find mobility that they still have that maybe they don't think they do.
Well, I find it really interesting and amazing what one can do and how relaxing it makes one feel afterwards. I've always felt so well after each set. I'd absolutely recommend it to anyone to have a go, because you got so much to gain from it. Just feeling so much better afterwards.
It's just doing something really positive rather than feeling that everything's very negative about having an illness. So it's seeing things in a different way, which is, I think, just positive. It turns it around a bit, so it's good. It's more accessible than I think people probably think. Rather than it being scary dance, which I think maybe a lot of people would think it was, it's much more playful and quite a lot of laughter, so it's much more fun than you might expect.
You just go at your own pace, and if you can't do it, you don't do it. You try, but if nobody's pushing you to say you must do this, which is nice, yeah. And it's just good to keep active. Just another session where I'm able to keep myself active, and with MS that's the main thing. It's just to keep yourself busy, keep active, because if you don't use it, you lose it.
Within the workshops, we really looked at and observed how people moved, and what we're not trying to do is we're not trying to be a specific person from the workshop. We're using what they've told us and the way they move as inspiration to really try and challenge the way that the dancers move. It's been a real challenge to take this movement which exists in people who have these diseases and transpose it onto trained bodies that are used to control and knowing exactly where everything is. My mum was diagnosed in like 2009. The other work that I've made has been quite emotionally charged, and it's all been me and my thoughts, and probably quite selfish in a way. And that's why I wanted to kind of have the workshops alongside it, to find out how jaded and biased my views of this whole situation are. And I've learnt a lot from it, because I think a lot of the people that I've met through these workshops have so much determination and drive, and they're not willing to just roll over and let this disease take over their lives. And I think it's been really great for me to see that positivity and see how much of an impact activities and that sort of thing can actually have on people.